Welcome to the weekly InSalt. This is episode not 3. Is it 340? Yeah, okay. I remember because last week I complained that it's 339 and it seemed like it was going by slowly. But I think that's just because it's the time of the year. My name's Wade. If you don't know that, I'm also here with Ches, co-host Ches.
Hey, how's it going?
What's up, man?
Not much.
And I don't know. I'm having a hard time coming up with Kurt names off the cuff.
The guru of sound.
The guru of sound.
All
Kurt
right.
Wallstrom.
Yep.
What's up, man?
Not much.
Yeah, I know. I think we're all in that season right now. At least it feels that way around the valley of, I think we're all done with winter.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it's that time of year now where if it needs to snow or not. And we got a bunch of snow. I had like 6 inches of snow up here over the weekend, but it didn't stick on the ground. I didn't even get to use my snowblower.
Yeah, I haven't used my snowblower at all this year. So
I haven't
far.
either.
Well,
I've
first
I haven't
shoveled.
even shoveled.
First day of spring is next week.
Is it next week?
Yeah.
Or this coming week. So
This
like the
coming
day after this episode comes out.
Oh, yeah. Good old spring. Good. Finally. Good riddance, winter.
Yeah.
It's been an interesting winter, though. It seems like it was okay in higher altitudes. I think that the ski resorts got snow pretty late this year. They were a
Yes.
little bit worried about it, but I think it's recovered since then. I think looking at the water snowpack map for the state of Utah, I think northern Utah is at or above 100% of normal, which is good. Southern Utah, on the other hand, you guys are really in a drought. That's not good.
Yeah, they did. I did hear them saying that thanks to the last couple of years, they should be okay
Yeah.
this year.
Yeah, I know that I was reading an article that mentioned that Utah Lake was at like 98% full, and so they had to push a bunch of it into the Great Salt Lake.
Which is great.
Yeah, I'd take that all day.
Yeah.
Or we can just let it dry up and all enjoy the arsenic poisoning. Isn't that what's in there? Arsenic or something? Isn't that what they were worried about with the lake drying up?
The Great Salt Lake?
Yeah.
I'm sure, yeah.
I'm sure there's all kinds of shit in there that nobody needs to deal with.
All sorts of shit that came from Utah Lake.
It kind of makes you wonder, right? Like, if all of the water just dried up, what you'd find at the bottom of all those
No
bodies
kidding.
of water.
Yeah.
Probably some things we don't want to know.
Yeah.
We were talking about garbage right before the show.
Yes.
And I think it's funny to talk about that because we all have to throw stuff away. And I have like some oil that I've put into containers, and I'm like, maybe
Cooking oil.
Cooking oil, yeah, not motor oil. Like, maybe I won't throw that away in the garbage can. I'll just take it down to Sandy City has, for some reason in Midvale, they have their hazardous waste disposal facility, which is just for residential disposal, not commercial disposal. It probably does both, but that's like we accept cooking oil and motor oil, and I don't know, for some reason you have a bottle of phosphoric acid, bring it on down, whatever. And that got us talking about like the weird, like it made me think about the weird things with trash. Have you guys ever read like the rules of what the waste management department says the rules are?
It's been a long time, but yeah.
It's crazy. Like, technically, if you can't close your garbage can lid, they don't have to pick it up. But, like, how many times have you been driving around and you see everybody with, like, so much shit in their garbage can, But they put that in the rules, like, if your lid can't close all the way, we're not picking it up. And I think they just do it anyway. Interestingly enough, you live closer to Sugar House area.
Yes.
Closer to downtown. It sounds like you have a garbage police.
Yes, we have garbage police, and they come out before they've, in this little vehicle, and they come around, and I know they at least check the recycling to make sure you don't have stuff in your recycling that you're not supposed to.
Yeah.
And if you do, they won't pick it up. You get a warning, and then after 1 or 2 warnings,
They just take your garbage cans away?
they take away your recycling.
So it's more for recycling then.
Yes.
Because I'm sure people abuse that.
Yeah, so I think they're just checking the recycling.
Do you have 2 cans? You have a garbage, recycling. Do you have
and yard waste.
and you have a yard waste can?
Yes.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, we only
Wow.
have
Well, you must pay a lot in taxes.
a Sugar House,
Yeah,
man. That's where the
you
money
got
is.
3 separate trash cans plus police to come
Yes.
and inspect. My God.
Yep.
I don't even want to know how much your waste management bill is. But I think that's the way it's heading, and they do that obviously because people abuse the system, right? Like I'm sure there are people. In your case, Kurt, you have 2 garbage cans and 1 recycle, right?
I do.
So you've actually decided to pay the extra to get another can, right?
Yeah, it's
because
like $7 a month.
yeah, it's not bad. But there are people out there that won't do that, and so they just use their recycle can like it's a garbage can, and that's why that happens. I'm
Exactly.
sure. And I'm sure that in the yard waste can, people throw other stuff all the time too.
Oh yeah.
Well,
I think they check your yard waste too in that time of year.
Yeah.
In Midville, there's pretty strict rules about what you can put in your recycle.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's
Like it's right now it's just cardboard only.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Huh.
cardboard only. Anything else goes in your regular trash.
So you can't put your plastics,
Nope.
your aluminum cans,
Nope.
your
Nope, cardboard only.
wow.
Well, how many people are constantly going to check the Midvale website to make sure that they know
Nobody.
Nobody is. Yeah.
So guess where all the recycling goes?
to the landfill.
To the landfill.
I think I brought it up on the show like last year or year before, but I got a notice from Sandy saying that China isn't buying as much of our recycled goods as they used to, so we're raising the prices or something like that.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I want to see let's see.
We're raising the prices. Can never get around that.
Let's see what the rules are. I'm going to look up Sandy. I'm sorry. If there ever is anybody from Sandy City listening, I'm not picking on Sandy City by any means. I'm just reading it because I live in Sandy. So don't think that I'm specifically picking on Sandy. I'll let Kurt pick on Midvale and Ches pick on Sugar House. You have to have your recycling out by 7 a.m. on your collection day, ensuring that your lid is closed and cans are at least 2 feet apart, which I've seen people that just put those things right up against each other, which I figured as a garbage man, I think that would be cool. It'd be a cool challenge. Like, oh, these cans are so close together, I'd thread the needle on these.
Exactly.
Obviously, it's probably not the best thing to do. Let's see what else they say. Cans are considered overfilled if the lid doesn't close properly or if the weight exceeds 225 pounds. I've kind of figured that the garbage can could handle more than that, but guess you can't throw me away.
Yeah, exactly.
I
Yeah.
don't think I'm over 225 yet, I hope.
Oh, so you can do in Midvale. They say you can do cardboard, paper, plastic bottles, and cans. So clean paper and cardboard, empty plastic bottles and jugs, empty aluminum and steel cans. Do not bag anything.
Whoops. I always put my recycle in bags. I guess I should stop doing that.
Yeah, and you can't recycle
No glass.
like plastic like t-shirt bags that you get from like the grocery store.
Yeah, there's certain those numbers on all plastic things. Like Sandy City will send out a little sheet that tells you which numbers they recycle.
Yeah.
So like grocery bags that you get, plastic grocery bags, you can't put those in recycle. You have to take those back to the store, which doing like Smith's pickup for groceries, I can just throw them in my truck when I go pick up my groceries and they'll take them. They say they recycle them. They take them. I don't know what happens to
That's
them.
why I just use paper bags.
Yeah, or just get paper. I'm sure eventually Salt Lake City will implement the 25 cents for bags or something rule like California
I
has.
think it's 10 in California.
10 cents. 10 cents too
I always
much.
go for paper bags.
Yeah. I kind of like plastic every now and then just to have for other things, but you accumulate so many of them.
That's why what I'll do is like I'll get paper bags and then have them put the meat in plastic.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of
Unless
people
you're
get picky
poor
about that.
like me and shop at Winco and you have to bag your own shit.
No, well, a lot of times I go to Harmon's and then I do the self-checkout.
Harmon's, you're living in luxury.
What's the
Yeah,
closest
you are.
thing to me?
High taxes, shopping at Harmon's.
Harmon's is the closest to me. I still drive to the Smiths.
They'll bag your stuff up for you. They'll even pump your gas.
They will?
This one right down here, right over here.
Which one?
This
The Harmon's?
Harmon's.
Oh,
right
you're
here.
right. Yeah, I did
Yeah,
stop.
I wheeled in there to get some gas, and the lady came out. She said, "Can I pump your gas?" I'm like, no, get the hell away from me. What? What?
Yeah, that's
like,
that's really weird for Utah because we've never done that. I've been to places where they're like you're not allowed to pump your gas.
Oh, yeah.
And it's always like
Like
weird.
Oregon.
yep.
It's weird because you're not used to it, you know.
We got yelled at once in Oregon. We were driving through, and they're like, "You guys can't pump gas with, by yourself." We're like, "We're not pumping gas because I had a diesel truck. We're pumping diesel." Like, yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, you can't pump. Yeah, you're gonna get in trouble. Don't pump your own gas.
I'm like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like, "Yeah, that's the law here. You can't do it."
I will give Sandy City this: that their website for all these rules is very intuitive. I've got a nice infographic here. It tells me what I can recycle. It says always recycle empty plastic bottles, tubs, and jugs, and then they list it in Spanish. That's also very nice of them. Empty food and beverage cans, flattened cardboard and paperboard, and clean paper. But don't recycle clothing, foam, yard waste, plastic bags, food or liquids, or glass bottles. Although Sandy does offer for an additional fee glass recycling.
Yeah, they offer that in my area too, but you can get
Midvale has a bin that you can go to drop off your glass.
Yeah. I think I've actually dropped it off at the Midvale Park right there.
It's not there anymore. It's actually kind of over by the city hall now. But there is a service that you can pay for. It's like a separate company that will provide you a smaller
can, like
trash can for glass, and then they'll send out a truck to come pick it up.
I think this is funny. They have a list of the most common contaminants they get in recycling. Plastic bags is number 1. Food and liquid is number 2. Electronics, and then they show a bunch of tube TVs. So I wonder if somebody was like, I'm just throwing this shit in there. Then like cloth.
It's out of sight, out of mind.
No tanglers, holiday lights, hangers, and extension cords. So I'm sure they run it through a machine, and that just destroys their ability to sort anything.
Yeah, I know that's what it is with the like the grocery bags.
Yeah, and no tires. Why is that always the most common? When you're like driving I-15 to St. George, let's say, you can pretty much look out the window at any moment and see a tire, like just in a field.
Yeah.
Like, why do people just dump tires everywhere? Are they that hard to get rid of?
I just saw something it's a couple of months ago.
Or is it expensive?
To dispose of tires? Yeah. Somebody just dropped, it was thousands of tires at
I read about this
at the old Cottonwood Mall site.
Yeah.
Oh, where they're building that new, aren't they building like condos or apartments there now or something?
Yes.
Yeah.
Somebody had dropped like truckloads of tires.
It's just
and he got caught too.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night, they're like, dude, we got to get rid of these tires.
I mean, it had to have taken days to drop that many.
That's funny.
Yeah, they got caught too. They got in a lot of trouble.
I want to see what the fee is for it.
For tires?
Yeah.
When you buy new tires, you get an old tire disposal fee even.
Yeah, so you'd think that they've got that covered. They don't need to be dumping them at like in some field.
Well, but when you do that, they actually do take those tires and dispose of them.
Oh, the AI of Google is really getting.
Gotta use the Gronk.
I know. I should just go to ChatGPT and search for all of this. In Sandy, Utah, a $1 tire recycling fee is charged for each new tire purchased, and this fee is collected by tire retailers and new vehicle dealerships, who then transfer it to the Utah State Tax Commission. But it doesn't say if I were to just go with like a trailer full of tires to some place.
Oh. I guess I just drive down to the discount tire and say, well, how much to
throw them through the window like that old commercial.
Yeah. If you're never happy, if you're not happy with one of our tires,
free to return it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they ever got tires through their window because of that. I'm sure somebody did.
Come on, the best part of that was a little old lady throwing it through the window.
There's even a waste tire recycling fee. There's a tax form for it. The Utah State Tax Commission just sent me statute 19-6 part 8, and then you can download the form to get money back for recycling tires. That's funny.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But in the meantime, let's just throw them in the Cottonwood Mall.
Exactly.
Oh man. What else were we talking about before the show? There was something else that I think we were wishing it was camping season.
Yes, very much
which is
so.
coming up.
Not soon enough, though. There
was one other thing that I wanted to bring up. I think you brought it up, but I don't remember what it was. This is why we write things down.
Yeah.
Well, what do you have, Ches? I know you have something else.
So I went to the yesterday, the day before we recorded this. Went to the Land Cruiser Historic Museum
Okay.
It's here in downtown Salt Lake.
Is it just run by like one guy that's really into Land Cruisers, or is it like a big thing?
It's a big thing. I mean, they've got over 100 vehicles there. Let me pull my notes back up here.
I looked it up, and I thought it was a very interesting spot for a museum to be.
It is, yeah. So it's 600 north, 500 west. So it's like underneath the viaduct there.
It's like right underneath the viaduct next to the railroad tracks.
Yeah, so I mean, there's
It's on the Visit Utah website. Oh wow.
like it starts like they've got like a 19, I think it's a 53. And they actually considered it's actually called a Jeep. Land Cruiser Jeep.
Jeep, yeah. They look like Jeeps, but for being a Jeep guy, I'm surprised you went to see a bunch of Toyotas.
Oh, it was so cool.
Was it cool?
They've actually got so Greg Miller, from Lord H. Miller Group,
Yeah.
it's kind of like his place. He's a huge Toyota Cruiser guy. He actually has
This place is huge.
yeah.
Wow. There's rows and rows of cars in like a giant warehouse.
Oh yeah, it's
And
incredible.
they're not just like, there's not a lot of room between them. They're packed in there.
Yeah, no, there's almost touching side by side.
Yeah.
And each one has got a little placard underneath it that gives like the history of the vehicle, who originally owned it.
That's
like,
cool.
where it was used.
Did you learn a lot about Land Cruisers?
I did actually.
Yeah.
So they actually have a fleet of vehicles there. It was an expedition called Expedition 7.
Yeah.
And they traversed all 7 continents.
No way. That's crazy.
So they took these, series, then not all of them went on all.
It was like that chassis.
So they're all newer ones, Land Cruisers that made this expedition, but like not all of them did all 7 legs. They have one vehicle that did do all 7.
That's
so they
cool.
got one vehicle there that's traversed all 7 continents.
It says to drive a Land Cruiser is to vicariously drive the roads of the entire world over the past 50 years, to ride in the driver's seat of a real chariot, what other 4x4s, and indeed what other passenger car can take you to that special place. That was some Japanese guy quoted that.
Yeah, and then they've got one there, an old Land Cruiser that was actually burned down from the campfire in California a few years ago.
Oh, really? Huh.
So it's got like melt.
I don't think that was a campfire, though.
That's what it was called, the campfire.
Oh, the campfire, yeah.
Yeah, is what the name of that fire, was called. It's called the campfire. And then it was, it's like you can look at it, like where the headlights are, you can see like the melted glass and the.
Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sad that I couldn't make it to go down there with you.
Yeah, I would definitely go again. As I walked through just like reading all the this one was from Brazil or this one was from Argentina.
So this was all like kind of curated by Larry H. Miller then?
From
a lot of it?
Greg.
Oh, okay. Okay.
For Greg Miller, yeah.
Greg Miller, okay.
So.
Well, cool. Like, if you want to go learn some history about Land Cruisers, I'm sure there's more than that there. It looks like it based on the pictures, but that sounds like a cool place.
It's all Land Cruisers, all the different models of Land Cruisers.
Looks like there's some tiny toy cars there, too.
Yeah, they had a bunch of little Toyota, looking, pedal cars. And
yeah.
So, I walked through there for probably a good hour and a half.
Yeah, it seems like it'd take at least that long to walk.
We called
this place.
We called the day before and asking what's the average? Guys that's asking how long's a rope.
Yeah.
He's like,
it depends on how long you want to spend there, I'm sure.
He's like, exactly. He's like, we got some people that come, they'll spend 20 minutes and they're out.
Yeah.
So other people, it's just how into it you get.
Yeah.
So I had some really cool vehicles. An old ambulance one from Japan and old fire truck ones.
The fire truck pictures up here. That looks really cool.
Yeah, they had one. It was a Saudi Arabia edition one.
That's cool.
That was still had all the the original hard doors and top, everything in the original shipping crate. That's loaded in the back.
Huh.
So. And it's still covered in sand from Saudi Arabia, and
that's crazy.
Big signs on it saying do not touch.
So they try to preserve it as best as they can. It's like they're preserving history.
Exactly.
Honestly. Yeah.
So they've got one of them in there. Oh, it was It was in South America. Is where it was finished. It's believed to be one of the very last, like the FJ series.
Oh, okay.
Like the 1985, like the FJ40s, like one of the very last ones built.
You know, it is really interesting when you start looking for things to do, how much there is.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and it just depends on, like, a lot of times, I think there's probably people listening that's like, it doesn't sound interesting to visit that for me, but you can find something, you know. Like, I remember I was in St. George with my family, and we found this random museum out at the airport, and we were like, let's go check that out. They just had a bunch of old airplanes in there, and there was nobody in there when we went. We walked in, and there was like 3 volunteers there. They were all veterans that had flown planes that just kind of sit there at the museum. Dude, they were more than happy to tell us about every single thing.
Oh, yeah.
It was so cool.
It really is.
Like, I could just go around again and just listen to them tell me all the cool shit, you know? Like, things that you would never even think of. They're just like, yeah, we're so excited to tell you. Come back, like, every day, you know? We'll tell you even more.
Yeah, and, like, on each one, there's, like for each cruiser there's a little QR code you could scan, and it would even, like, you could even hear a little...
oh, that's cool.
...thing about it.
That's really cool.
So, it's very well done. So...
It kind of it's making me remember last time we went to Alcatraz. Last time I went with Kurt. I think it was the last time I was there.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was cool because Alcatraz is a little bit different, though. You get off the boat, they give you a like headset and like a tape player or something, like MP3 player or something now, I'm sure, and you just listen to it.
Yeah, you just pop it out and slap in your favorite Motley Crue tape and just walk around and look at stuff.
And learn nothing about the history of Alcatraz. No, it actually, like, I think it's self-guided tour is what they call it, but you put that on and they walk you to each individual spot, which is kind of funny because as you start going through the tour, you're like, this is really cool, and you go from room to room and you can stop it, you know, and hang out there, take pictures, whatever. But as you're walking around the tour, you're going back past people that aren't to the point in the tour that you are yet. So it's kind of like everybody's in their own world, you know, you're just avoiding people that are all trying to get to the next spot. But then it's funny to, like, see their reaction to the things that you just heard. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
Like, the days of the tour guide are kind of over unless you, like, specifically seek that out. You know, I think self-guided tours, like, whatever. We'll just get as many people through here as we can. I don't remember it being too expensive going out there, was it?
That was like $8 or something.
That's
I
it?
remember. Yeah, it wasn't very much.
Yeah, I'm going to look it up.
I mean, you got to do a boat ride to and from.
The boat ride rules.
Yeah.
Yeah, you, like, get crammed like sardines into this ferry, and then it goes pretty fast. I mean, the boat ride takes a little bit of time, long enough that they'll serve you beer.
Yeah. Oh, really?
I remember that we went down, there was like a little snack bar and a drink bar or whatever, and I think we got a can of beer on our way there. We're like, that was kind of cool. I didn't know you could get that on your way to Alcatraz. I think they forced you to get rid of everything before you obviously got to the island.
Oh, yeah.
Because they don't want you throwing things just anywhere. But, you know, if you're going to go visit Alcatraz, make sure you watch The Rock before you go. It makes it way cooler.
Yeah, and plan in advance. I know you got to...
Yeah, let's see. Alcatraz day tour. Oh, you can do a night tour now?
What?
That's what I'm talking about.
That might be worth a trip to San Francisco.
Shit, I'll write that off.
Yeah, we're going to cover it on the podcast. We can write it off.
Yeah. We're going out there for the podcast. Let's see the day tour, it's 2.5 hours. Hourly departures from 8:40 a.m. to 3:50 p.m. Oh, excuse me. E-ticket, mobile check-in. Buy tickets now. Let's see how much it costs. Wow, maybe we just didn't remember how much it cost. It costs
like $40 or something.
$53.
Good Lord.
Yeah.
That's not bad, though.
No, that's not.
You don't remember a lot of
the
that's
night
going
tour costs $64, probably because you're paying for keeping the lights on, you know?
Yep.
Approximately 2.5 hours, Tuesday through Saturday, 5:55 p.m., 6:30 p.m., and 7:05 p.m. Dude, that would be sweet.
Yeah, that would be cool.
The night tour, dude, with all the lights on and everything. We might have to do this.
Yeah.
But yeah, go visit some historic places. Those are always fun.
Yeah, I mean, go to some, you know.
That's like, it's totally one of those things where you're like, do I really want to go? Like, you know, you say Land Cruiser Museum, and I before I even look it up, I'm like, I don't know why I would want to go there. And then you look at it, you're like, that kind of seems cool. Still don't know if I really want to go. But when you're there, you're actually there. You're like, Damn. Like when we visited with James and his family to Eureka.
Exactly, the old mining museum out there.
The dude came and opened the door. He saw that we were walking around with his son, and he's like, dude, I came down, like, I can let you guys in. And we go, look, you learned about things that you didn't even know about.
Exactly.
That's literally right in your backyard,
So, like, one thing I learned, yesterday at this museum is, all these Land Cruisers, you got the FJ40 and the FJ Cruiser and all that. I learned what the F stands for in that.
Freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
The F is the indicator of that first letter indicates the engine. So the F indicates that vehicle has an inline 6 engine.
They still make those.
Oh, the inline 6 are the greatest engines ever made.
Yeah. Inline?
Yeah, inline 6, yeah, it's the greatest engine ever made. So
yeah, I don't have an argument for that.
But anytime you see a Toyota, like an FJ or an F whatever, the F indicates an inline 6 engine.
Okay, that's cool.
So
yeah, that's just random things. It's nice to soak up that knowledge.
Yeah. So I asked a buddy of mine who's had a Land Cruiser since we were in high school. I'm like, do you know what the F stands for in the FJ? And he's like, no.
Yeah.
I'm like, it indicates it's got the inline 6.
Yeah, that's what you can do. Go learn all this knowledge that nobody else knows, and you get to tell them.
Yeah. So it was really. Yeah, I recommend anybody go. I wasn't a huge cruiser fan, but I'm a bigger one now. But.
Yeah, and this is just reminding me that last time I drove past the aquarium, the Living Planet Aquarium in Draper.
Yeah.
They were building a huge extension on it. I haven't been to the one in Draper. I went to it before it was at that location with the giant obnoxious U2 stage that they bought or whatever.
Or gifted or whatever.
I'm sure they paid for it. Or maybe they didn't. I don't know.
I think they won it.
We should look that up. But they're building that huge extension on there. I'd like to go see what they add onto it and just go there.
I've never been.
Let's write that off too, man.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Let's go get our $3 off of our taxes, man.
Exactly.
The aquarium? Is that what you're talking about?
It's $17.95 per person. It looks like it's not unreasonable. I'm sure that it's obviously that all the pictures.
Are they done with that extension?
I don't think they are yet. I was going to see if I could find anything on their website about it.
So does that mean we need to go twice, go check it out before, and then go check it out after?
Yeah,
I've been there a couple of times.
Have you?
Yeah.
What'd you think?
It was all right. The first time I went, it was all right. The second time was for a company party.
Yeah.
But we didn't really get to go.
Is it cool, though?
Yeah.
Did you like seeing all they have some cool animals?
But yeah. It's just it's a lot better than what it used to be when it was back in that
Gateway.
It was an old Kmart or something.
Yeah, it was that old Albertsons or whatever it was. Yeah.
I went when it was in that building, and I thought for that building they still did a pretty damn good job.
It was all right, but it's interactive. There's some cool stuff to look at.
You've got otters,
the penguins,
sloth.
Is it a 3-toed sloth?
I don't know.
Is there any other?
I don't know.
Deep sea lab. So like crabs and lobsters, and then like an ocean exhibit, an expedition area where they're showing a leopard, I would assume. So maybe they've got more stuff there now.
Yeah, it's probably changed since I've last been there. But yeah, we should go check it out.
Komodo dragons, Asian vine snake. That was Chez's high school nickname.
Yep.
I got to find a day that they aren't doing field trips from.
It's have to be a Saturday then or something. Are they open on Sundays? Probably
it says
not.
hours 10 to 6 p.m. It doesn't specify the day.
We should go like right at 10.
Yeah.
Otherwise, we're gonna get killed with kids.
That's all right. Sometimes I like to power through a crowd of kids like I'm a linebacker.
That's awesome.
Let's see. I can't. What are the hours? We're really making gripping radio today. I don't know. It doesn't say the days. It just says open 10 to.
Yeah, it's open today.
Okay. Yeah.
At least what I'm seeing on, at least their Google Maps says it's open.
I would say we would go and film some stuff and then post it, but the whole point of buying the ticket is so that you go there and see it.
Yeah. Yeah. According to their, which was the Google Maps, which, it says this was updated by the business. Their hours 7 days a week are 10 to 6.
Yeah. Well, let's take a break, and then we'll be right back. We're back. Weekly InSalt episode 340. Racking our brains this week about what we can talk about. You know what I've been spending time on? I think I mentioned this last episode, but we went down to Vegas and filmed a bunch of video. And
Yes.
so now I've filmed the post-event interview from the BCAs with Dale. So last thing on man, if you ever watch YouTube videos or you wonder what it takes to do something like that, like, I have so much respect for those people, dude. I've kind of been using, like any good production person would do, ChatGPT for like advice. I've never edited video before, let alone like filmed video. So it's just like, let me walk you through the process and you can tell me what you think. This is tedious as shit. But before the event, right, I have to understand what I want to film. I can't just go down there and film nothing or just film whatever I feel like, because there has to be some sort of like rhyme and reason to what I'm filming. And a lot of that came from setting up interviews with Dale. Dale being the easy candidate. He's been on the show before. You can look back at his episodes if you want to know about him. But he's easy to film because he's been an actor. So he's comfortable with microphones. He's comfortable being in front of the camera. It's not weird. You don't have to coach him on what to expect. He just does it, which is awesome. So that's even having somebody on camera that knows what they're doing already. Had to take time with him. I think the first interview was like an hour and a half or so. While we were down there, we had to take time out in Las Vegas to find a spot to go talk for like half an hour. And then we went back over to his house and filmed another like hour, 30 minutes, 45 minutes of asking him questions about afterwards. And now I still have to schedule more time with him to go shoot B-roll, because the video wouldn't be any good if you just sat there watching him talk for, And this is so then I get home and I'm transferring all of the video footage to my computer. And I'm like, well, let me see, what process I should try to follow here. And I'll just read what ChatGPT says is like the industry standard for editing, like kind of a workflow process, right? And you're going to laugh at the very end and you'll understand why, but so I asked it, what would be the best way to edit the video? Like I told it that I was done with the shoot. I got all the footage that I need except for B-roll. How do what should I do? And it gave me these steps. It said, step number 1, import your footage and your audio. Luckily, that's the same track. I just had it attached to my phone. And then it says basically you organize everything. Hold on. I'm trying to find it. Sorry. Scrambling. Okay, here it is. Organize your footage before editing. So get it all organized into your folders. And then part of organization, when you're doing an interview in your editing software, you can mark, for example, like each question. So you can hear me in the background when I'm talking to Dale ask a question. Obviously, I'm not on camera, so you don't want me asking the question. But then I have to go through and mark every question, so I know where they're all at. That took me like 2 hours to do for one video, which is crazy, right? And that video was like, I don't know, an hour long. And then it says build a rough timeline. So then you go through all your footage and you drag it all into your timeline. And you're like, this quote would be good here. This would be good here. Let's put this transition here. This B-roll here. And then it says, okay, now that you've done that, go back and refine your story. So go back through it all again and like trim it down so that you're only getting the really good parts, That's the number 3. Now you're just barely getting to the part where you add music, sounds, and transitions. So you go back through it all again, do all your transitions, add your music in, make sure that all of that shit lines up with the music and transitions. And then you're like, oh, you'd think that would be it. No, and then you go back and you fine-tune everything again. And so I've worked probably 6 hours or so, 6-7 hours so far, and I've got a minute 30-second video. And yeah, it's so when you see the like people that are doing YouTube channels where they do all the editing and all that shit themselves, good for them, man. And that's assuming that they have the equipment that I bought. You know, I bought stuff specifically so it'd make it easier to just take my video from my phone and the audio that it records and just drop it in. When we rented that camera last year, dude, we had no idea how much we were in over our head.
Yeah.
That camera was a professional camera that you'd use to shoot TV or movies, right? Probably, maybe not movies. I'm sure that does have that application, but it dumped out like this folder structure that had to remain the same. The audio was like hard to figure out because it was in separate tracks. And man, by the time we even got it into the editing stuff, it's like we realized like, oh, we didn't, even then we still didn't have audio with the stuff that we needed, you know? So that's what I've been doing lately, but hopefully I can get a video out, and when I do, I'll post it on our YouTube channel. If I don't know if it's any good. See,
Yeah.
and that's I've taken all this video. I've probably got, I don't know, a couple hours of footage, and I'm like talking to Dale. I'm like, I hope you're proud of what I can make. I don't know what it is, and he's like, well, I don't know. I don't even really remember what I said when you guys interviewed me. I just kind of go into actor mode and I just talk, you know. And I'm like, there's some good clips in there, but I was like, I don't think I could make like a 10-minute video out of it. There's like no way. And he's like, well, maybe you should just do like a sizzle reel, just to get your feet wet in the editing. Sizzle reels are just like a trailer for a video coming out. You know? Usually around like 2 minutes. Yeah, it's going to take me like 40 hours to get 2 minutes of footage completely edited. So when you see the people that are YouTubers, they literally are probably doing that all day. Editing is like probably so time consuming, which is another reason why I'm sure they pay for editors. But then those people, I don't know why they haven't jumped off buildings yet, you know? Like the guy's sitting there all day editing somebody else's video. Drive me nuts.
There's probably people that really get into it, really enjoy it, really.
Well, I was trying to think of ways that I could like distract myself from it being tedious, and so I was like, well, let me throw on some music to listen to while I'm going through all the clips. Can't really do that because you got to hear the clips. Yeah. You know, so you literally have to sit there and rewatch the video that you were there to shoot and watch it over and over and over and over and over. And then you hit this point where you're like, I got to watch the whole thing again because I don't even know if what I'm doing at this point makes any sense. So you go back and start your edited video from the beginning and rewatch it. And then you're like, I don't know anymore. I don't even, where am I? But hopefully I'll try to get a video out and I'll show you guys at least. If it's not any good, then I'll probably be embarrassed and just not post it, but we'll see.
Got to start somewhere.
You got to, and that's the thing, you just have to do it, you know. If I guess I could pay an editor, but you still have to be able to film the right footage to give the editor to make something out of it, you know. I don't know. It's so much work. It is kind of fun doing video, though. I would like to do that. I think it would be cool to provide video to our audience, you know, like on a more regular basis. That's one of the questions I think I get the most about the podcast. Oh, can we watch you guys on YouTube? And it's like, it is on YouTube. You can listen to it there, but we don't have cameras in the studio. Well, that's easy. Just get like 4 or 5 cameras, dude, and just press record on it every time that you have a podcast. Yeah. Okay, well, let's take that scenario and let's talk it out, right? 4 cameras. Let's say we have 4 cameras, one for the room or the TV in the studio here, one for you, one for me, one for Kurt, one for Laura or whoever, and the guest, whoever else is here. Well, now, and we talk for an hour, right? Now we've got 4 hours of footage because each camera is recording an hour's worth of footage, and now you've got to watch all 4 hours of that to cut it to the person who's talking at the time, right?
That's...
Are you kidding me? Every week you want me to do that?
Yeah, that's like 2 days worth of work.
Oh, for sure, dude. For sure. It's hard enough to get in here every week. Like, and that's something that lately we've been having a really hard time with, but it's just, I mean, I appreciate everybody that listens, and I'm glad that we still do this because people listen to it. But man, I mean, if you wish you had more of this, we wish too, but it's just a lot.
It is.
I think we were talking this morning too before the show just about some changes, you know, what we want to do, where we want to go, what we should focus on, because really, you know, we all have day jobs. We all have other shit going on. We can't just all week focus on what the next cool show, the Weekly InSalts, is. But it is cool to learn something new and to do video. I think that that's something we can incorporate into the podcast at some point, but I mean, I got to learn how to do that. At some point, I'm sure you get really efficient at editing, right? You know the hotkeys, you know all the little tricks, tips and tricks, and all the shortcuts. Yeah, you can kind of do it quickly at that point. But going through it the first time is like, I don't know, climbing up the mountain trying to pull a steamroller behind you.
Yeah, and I have heard like some editors that use like a gaming mouse.
Yeah.
So they can program like all these different, all the different buttons on the mouse
Yeah.
to do all sorts of different, actions for editing.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. And then not only that, you get inconsistencies across shoots, right? So this is so dumb, but anybody who's tried doing video will understand this. I had clipped the lapel mic onto Dale's shirt right at the collar of his shirt for our initial interview. In Vegas, I got lazy, and I was like, don't put the lapel mic on because I have these dead cats, which is just the foam stuff around the microphone to stop the wind. And you can clip this little box on your shirt, it'll be fine. But he clipped it down more towards his sternum. So the audio is totally different for the interview in Vegas than it is for the pre-interview, right? At the time, didn't even think about it. I'm like, we'll have usable audio. It's totally great. Totally different. Different room, different sound. The sound bounces differently in that room. It's just crazy.
Yeah, we'll probably have to get into where you're getting room tone and...
I ain't going that far. You guys can get videos, but they're going to be shitty videos, all right? It depends on how much time you want to spend. And I'm sure there are certain things, like Kurt and I had talked about, when we go camping, maybe we should... You got a gimbal, the same gimbal that I did, and when we go camping, that'd be cool, because then you're filming totally separate stuff than I am, And then what do? We probably both have to edit different parts and then work together to combine into one video if we wanted to, or just release our own videos, but... I think doing something like that would be easier because it's just you recording yourself or what you're doing, and that's it. You don't have to. It's just so much more difficult when you get into more video production. But we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
You started watching videos on video editing. Doesn't it look tedious as shit?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does.
Oh, yeah. And I did it for a little while, and it sucked.
Yeah, I think that if, like, with anything, right, if you start something, it's always going to be a little bit painful, but then the more you get to know it, the easier it becomes. At this point, like, editing the audio for the podcast is pretty easy. It always has been, but, like, I can do it in a couple minutes, And it's just because I've done it for years. But, yeah, anyway, so that's what I've been doing, Ches. And then, this is a good segue into what I think is probably happening to me editing is my life is flashing before my eyes, and I'm wondering what I'm doing with myself.
Oh, yeah.
And you have something to talk about.
I do. I came across this article. It has to do with that. Let me pull it back up. So, brain scans of dying man suggest life flashes before our eyes upon death.
So, you got to explain, like, how they got this scan. That's a good part of it.
There was an elderly... epilepsy patient, and they were performing
let's just say brain scan.
A brain scan,
yeah.
An EEG. I cannot pronounce the actual term for what it is, but they were performing that on him to help figure out his epilepsy, and he suffered a massive heart attack while undergoing this EEG, and he had a DNR.
Yeah. So they couldn't. Yeah.
So they couldn't
resuscitate me.
So they just let him go, and so the scans picked up, basically him dying, and they were saying, that it's like what lit up were parts of the brain that have to do with memory recall and meditation, and so like it was like his like important things in your life were coming back to mind.
That's a really common thing in like movies and stuff, is that whenever like somebody's near death, they did like the flashback of their life.
And they're saying so that it gives some validity to the people that have actually come out and said my life flashed. My life flashed before my eyes right before this near death experience. So
I don't know whether I'm happy or sad about that. I don't know.
But, it's yet to be proven because it's only just been this one case that it just randomly
Yeah, I can't imagine that they have people
happened.
Hooked up to brain scans a lot when they're dying.
Yeah.
You probably try to keep them alive. That, you can't interview a dead person.
Exactly, yeah. Unless
that's interesting.
Maybe the Ouija board or something, but...
let's not do that on the podcast.
Yeah.
I don't know if I want to go down that path.
So...
Kurt just randomly over there. He turns the microphones on and just plays with a Ouija board for the whole episode. Kurt, what are you doing? Shut up. I'm talking to the spirits.
What are they saying?
They're saying our show sucks.
But yeah, so I found that a little interesting to there could be something more
I do get interested in hearing those stories. Like, I think everybody's kind of been interested in that at some point where, like, I don't remember what show it was, but there was a show where they would talk about
crossing over with that
Tales from the Crypt.
Yeah.
No, it was it's
scary stories to tell in the dark.
No, it was like, I survived. And it was about the people that would get in like these really, really bad situations and end up living through it. Like, a shipwreck and dude floats in the water for like a week and then gets rescued when he's about to die. And like hearing the mental, like the things that your brain does to trick you is crazy.
Oh yeah.
Like you get so close to a point where you're just hallucinating like entire different things. Like you just feel like you're just somewhere else, all of your pain goes away and then all of a sudden you get slapped back into reality. Like, oh shit, I'm still floating in the middle of the ocean.
Shit, I'm still alive.
I think that would be the worst possible thing. I can imagine being in a lot of shitty situations, like 100 hours or whatever that was. That guy got his arm cut his arm off in southern Utah. That would suck, Like, that would be a really crappy situation, but at least you're kind of like not in water. I don't know. I would rather be stuck in a slot canyon with my arm and having to cut that off than be floating through the ocean. Would you rather float in the ocean?
I don't know.
Just looking at me like, you're crazy, dude.
I don't know, both would be fucking miserable.
I wouldn't want to float around in the ocean.
No.
I think that would be the worst. Because it's like you don't know what's underneath you.
And you can't drink the water.
Can't drink the water. And you're just floating there, so like you can't really fish.
Yeah.
Or like being stuck in the survival raft. Can you imagine how horrible that's got to be? I think there was some dude that got stuck in that thing for like almost a month. He ended up like figuring out how to catch fish, and he was just eating raw fish because he couldn't cook it. You all right over there?
Yeah, it just sounds a little weird, so I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my mic.
Is it in the sweet spot?
It is.
Well,
sounds fine.
I think it sounds okay.
Okay,
yeah.
Maybe it's just me. But yeah, no, that was
yeah, your love is
I know what you're talking about, the movie.
There's movies on it, but the show is I Survived.
But yeah, I think the Unbreakable.
Unbreakable is with. Let me just Google.
Was that the Angelina Jolie movie? Because I know she's the one that directed the movie of the. It was during World War II.
Why can't I think of his name? The guy that's in Die Hard.
Bruce Willis.
Bruce Willis. Yeah. Unbreakable was. Well, I don't want to spoil it if people haven't seen it.
What is that movie? About the guy, he was during World War II. His plane was shot down, and he drifted for.
I know what you're talking about. I don't remember the movie.
I don't know what you're talking about.
It's The Sixth Sense. That movie was on cable the other day. I'm like, I haven't seen that in a while.
Let's see here. Let me pull up here.
Just the dead air. That's why you came here. We are providing today. We have access to the most advanced AI.
I don't know. I'm looking.
Well, Unbroken?
Unbroken.
There you go. ChatGPT wins again. And you know what I prompted it with? Movie about World War II pilot that got shot down. And that was the number one answer. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. The Cold Blue. 12 O'Clock High.
I never saw the movie, but I read the book. The book was incredible.
He was an Olympic runner that turned into a World War II bombardier who survived a plane crash and spent 47 days stranded at sea before being captured by the Japanese. Oh, dude. What a nightmare. You survive for 47 days and then you get captured by the enemy?
Yeah. Yeah, and he was actually predicted to be the first person to break the 4-minute mile.
Oh, dang.
So
I would never want anybody to be stranded like that. But I mean, the reality is that stuff happens like way more than what you even hear at the news. Like, people are always getting lost.
Yeah.
In the wilderness, or just weird things happen. Like, I don't know how many times I've seen on the news just around the valley that some hiker fell, and it makes you wonder, like, what were they doing? Like, I've been on tons of hikes and have managed not to hurt myself yet. I mean, I say yet because can't tell the future, but I try to be extra careful. You know, like when last time I went up to Angel's Landing in Zion, I can't even get within like 10 feet of the edge of that cliff. And there's somebody's over there sitting on the edge with their feet dangling off. It gives me the heebie-jeebies, dude.
Oh yeah, it gives me like I can't even watch videos like with the height stuff.
Yeah, have you ever
where, like
seen
they put it over like?
You've seen those videos on YouTube about the like urban explorers that will climb like the tallest buildings and they'll stand on like the very top.
Oh yeah,
like and they're just up there like normal. I'm like, dude, no.
Nope, I can't do that.
It gives me it like makes me get that weird feeling of like you're gonna die at any moment.
I get it doing your VR with that one.
Oh yeah,
walking out like
that's why that one sucks.
I'm like I know I'm only 2 inches off the ground.
Yeah, that what's it called? Plank experience or something?
Yeah, that's still like
plank experience.
Like nope, thank you. I'm not gonna do this.
Yeah, and then there's a lot of other things that immerse you into it though too, like you're actually walking on a board.
Yeah,
you know, and then the elevator doors open. If you haven't seen it, it's Richie's Plank experience, and it's VR where you're in an elevator, and you press the button, and it takes you up to the top floor, and then the doors open, and there's a wood plank. But you can like use the controllers in VR to put a piece of wood down on like books or something so that it flexes, and then it aligns up with what you're seeing in VR, so it feels super real. And your brain is completely convinced that you're about to walk out this elevator door onto a piece of like 2x6.
Yeah.
And it's funny. You can watch it all over YouTube. There's tons of reactions of people like because if you fall in the game, you fall, and people like just break. They don't know what to do. They fall over. They like just I don't know. It's really weird how your brain just is convinced that you're there.
I mean, yeah, I did it, and I knew.
It took me like at least I think 10 minutes or so to even get the courage to step on the piece of wood. And at any time you can take the headset off and you're just standing in an empty room with a piece of wood.
Exactly.
But your brain is so convinced.
But and then part of you still knows you're only.
Yeah.
You're like in reality.
Like I know in reality I'm not about to walk on this plank out of a 100-story building.
Yes.
But your brain is like, I still don't think it's a great idea.
Exactly.
Oh man, we could probably do a whole episode on just VR stories. Like, I've had somebody almost accidentally dive out my front window. I've had somebody break their ribs playing VR. I can't even count the number of times that people have tried to lean on countertops in VR and fallen over at this point. I mean, Kurt, you've seen most of those incidents too from being here. Kurt and I last time we set VR up, Kurt and I spent a ton of time playing the new Half-Life game that's in VR. That game is badass, dude.
It is fun.
Valve does such a good job they just basically don't answer to anybody, so they can take as long as they want to develop their games, and they usually try to push the technology forward, which is cool. But dude, it's like so immersive, and it's Half-Life, and it's the Half-Life world, so you have like zombies, kind of, these zombie guys and these head crabs that jump at your face. And a bunch of, when they translate it over to VR, dude, the visuals look so real. You feel like you're there. It's crazy. And then their controls are super smooth. But the one thing that like everybody, you watch like John Wick, right? We were just watching that yesterday. And he's shooting, killing everybody. Looks like a badass. Reload super smooth. Everybody thinks they can do that, and then VR humbles you real quick.
Oh yeah.
Because in like Half-Life, you play a lot of the game with a pistol. And they have intuitive controls, but every time you reload, you have to you squeeze the grip part of the controller. There's buttons on your hand there where you squeeze, and then it drops the mag out, and then you have to I think you reach over your shoulder to grab another mag?
Yeah.
And then you have to put the mag in, and if you've shot the last bullet, you have to rack it. And when you've got like 3 zombies running at you and you're panicking, I don't know how many times you die just because you're fumbling around trying to get your gun to work.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm sure in real life that happens all the time.
Yeah, I've done like timed shooting courses.
Yeah.
Where you're reloading on the move, and
it's probably, I'm sure there is a lot more. It's a little bit easier in real life, but it definitely makes you appreciate it makes you understand why those courses are necessary if you're going to be in the military or have to use a gun.
Yeah, I mean, I've done, where you're shooting from behind cover and you're trying to shoot around hostages and...
Yeah. You just did it for fun?
Just for fun.
Yeah.
And just firearm training.
I think there's a few places around Salt Lake that you can do that.
Yeah, I don't know. We've all just gone out with friends and or in actual like real training classes.
That actually made me want to kind of set up that VR again because we never finished playing it. I thought it was going to be pretty short, and then as we got deeper and deeper, I think I had my VR up for like almost a whole week. Which it sucks for at my house. What I do is I clear out my whole living room. So that means my couch is now in my kitchen, up against my island in my kitchen. My coffee table is like clear off in the corner, and then there's a big open space there that you can walk around in, which makes it way more fun in VR, but way less livable in my house.
Yes.
So I get to the point where I got sick of it, and I move it all back. But makes me want to set it up again. Maybe we'll do that. I'm getting sick of wintertime. Maybe I'll escape to some other place.
Yeah.
Did you ever play? I think you can do it in Google Earth now in VR, but you can basically put yourself on the planet somewhere, and then you're in VR, and it's all like you feel like you're there.
Yes.
That's cool.
Yeah, we did that one. I did that one here.
That one's way cool. All right, well, I don't have anything else. You got anything left on your list? Kurt?
Nothing on my list.
Words of wisdom for the people?
Nope.
Well, there you go. You heard it first. Kurt has no words of wisdom this week.
Keep your stick on the ice.
He's got something really important to tell us next week, though. I'm excited about that.
I do.
Do now.
Yeah, you got to find
better
it now.
figure that out. Just kidding. All right. Thanks everybody for tuning in. We'll catch you next episode. This has been your weekly insult. We should probably change the outro, the phrase, because it's not really weekly anymore.
It's not.
Yeah. That's what you said. We'll catch you next time.
I don't know. We'll listen to you. Talk to you guys later.
Yeah. We'll be back when we feel like it.
We'll be back when something important happens.